Hi.
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm ancient. I'm 78. And how old are you?
I'm 13.
Oh, my God. A huge gulf. And yet it doesn't seem like that to me.
Hello, I'm Louis Peckham. I'm 13. I am in Year 8 at school, and I am openly gay.
I'm Roger. I shall be 90 in 5 months. I was a professor of history, long ago retired. And do I say at this point that I met Percy just over 51 years ago?
I'm Percy. I'm 78. I met Roger when I was very, very young. I was 27. And
in the grave.
yes, and didn't really want to get involved in a relationship. And here we are now, 51 years later. What's your favourite subject at school?
Mine is drama.
Drama?
Yeah.
And what are your chums like at school?
They're really nice. They obviously support me, and yeah.
When did you know that you were gay?
I think it just, I remember getting the faults because people were like, they weren't telling me I was kind of getting the idea when I was being with girls so much that it was like, and then when they would talk about boys, I would start agreeing with them, and then it just naturally happened, and then...
Were you worried when you suddenly thought, I could be gay, or...
I was confused because I didn't know what other people think. I didn't know where it was. I never knew there was such a thing as liking other boys. I thought it was just me by myself. Like, I remember when I went on a school journey, I remember actually thinking to myself to try not to think about being gay because I was with a group of boys. So it was like, if I thought of it, I may be attracted to one, even though it just confused me a lot.
Yeah, sure. And did it worry you at all, or did you just think this was normal after a while?
After a while, I just knew that I was, and I just accepted myself for that.
What were your parents' reaction?
They were really nice. They told me that they loved me no matter what, if I was gay or straight.
That's amazing. I mean, that's wonderful, actually, because they've been all so supportive.
Yeah, my whole family across, and there's not one member of my family who doesn't support me. It's just everyone does.
You know, if I go back to my own childhood, there were one or two guys I thought, oh, they're great, but I don't think I would have told anybody, you know. But then it was a different period. But I think you're so lucky that, you know, the world has changed.
Yeah.
And you can just be yourself. Have you ever had a boyfriend?
I have.
How long ago was that?
Now. Yeah, I have a boyfriend now, basically. So how old were you when you came out?
I must have been about 16, 15, 16. I had a very close friend who was at school with me. And for some reason, he was sent to a boarding school, like a private school, for a while. And I think that his parents must have found out that he was gay. And so they sent him away. And then they brought him back. And I, you know, was speaking to him and saying what was, you know, going to a private school like and so forth. And then we both just sort of admitted to each other that we both liked guys. But I remember that he decided that we should go to a gay club. Well, you can imagine the two of us at 16 suddenly thinking, we're going to a gay club. We're going to see other people who are gay. And, you know, he just thought it was fun. For us, it was an eye-opener that there were other people, and so many people, who felt just like we did. I mean, it was quite exciting, actually. And in those days, you had to, if you went to a gay club, you had to sign in, you know, and we were underage, you know, but it was great. It was rather great to sort of, we invented names. We didn't give our real names at all. We didn't dare, because I thought if my parents found out, what would I say to them? What would they do?
Were your family, like, did they support you when you came out?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I always felt that my father knew that I was gay. I didn't know my father terribly well. We didn't get on very well. But on reflection, I thought he did know. I originally come from Johannesburg in South Africa. And Roger and I were already living together. And my mother had been to England when I was a student. And she was coming to see us. We had recently bought a house. It was the very first house we ever bought. And I was showing her around the place. And then I said, oh, this is where I sleep. This is Roger and my bedroom. And I said, and that's your bedroom, our guest bedroom. And she said to me, yes, I know, darling, this is your bedroom, isn't it? I said, no, Mummy, it's a guest bedroom. And she said, I know it's becoming a guest bedroom. I said, no, my bedroom is Roger's bedroom. And she just looked at me and I said, do you want a cup of tea or a scotch? And she said, I think I will have the scotch, please. Who's the first person that you told that you were gay, that spoke to?
I still remember it to this day. I came out to my parents over message because I just felt like I couldn't do it face to face. I messaged my parents and I was downstairs eating cereal, breakfast, and my mum came running down the stairs and then she was like, so this message, is it true? And I said, yeah. I just said, yeah, and it was a complete shock and I started to cry because I didn't know what she was going to say. And then she sat me down, she said, I love you no matter what, and you don't have to worry because there's other family you have members of your family who are gay and I've supported them, so you have nothing to be scared of. How was it growing up gay when it was illegal?
In some instances, one didn't think about it. By that, I mean, you got on with what you were doing. But there were moments, for instance, if you had a chum and you wanted to say, oh, I went out last night to a gay club, you sometimes were reluctant to tell them because you weren't quite sure what they were going to think or feel. There was the other thing is that right up till 1967, it was illegal. And you had to be very careful because if you had a boyfriend or something and you were spending the night with them, and, the police could come, knock on your door, and because you were in bed with them, they could charge you with a guilty offence. Now, sometimes it was quite exciting. You went to a gay club and you met somebody and you thought, God, they're absolutely wonderful. This is going to be great. And you would go off and it would be a wonderful evening. But there was also the thing of what happens if we get caught? And then, of course, you felt that you were stronger than anybody. And so you thought, oh, blow that. We'll just have a good time. But you always had a slight suspicion that something could go wrong. So you were never 100% at ease. Whereas now that would never, ever happen. You would never consider it at all. So I envy you in that sense. In one's youth, it would have been wonderful to just sort of think it doesn't matter a damn. You can just enjoy yourself and be yourself.
Because obviously you're saying you get arrested. I've never heard that before. I never thought you would actually, police would knock on your door and come in and arrest you for being gay. It's like a shock. It amazes me how they could even just say, for loving someone, you're being arrested.
That's right.
That completely shocks me. What advice would you give me for the future?
I'd say, be true to yourself. Stand up for being gay. And for actually trying to make people understand that the most important thing is that you can love somebody. It doesn't matter who they are, whether it's a boy or a girl, love is love. And that's something which is enriching, and to try to get people to think beyond their own immediate sphere, so that we can all be, I can't think of a better word, neighbors in the world and not have enemies, and to be supportive.
Thank you.
Oh, how lovely was that?
Would you like to know the kind of products I sell that have built my 7-figure Amazon business? Well, if you click the...
Thank you guys for watching this video. We want to say a big, big thank you to Louis, Percy and Roger. And without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Also, this would not be possible without London Pride themselves and BBC Two. They've got a documentary coming out called Against the Law, and you can see that at the end of July, so keep your eyes open. Again, thank you for watching, guys. Please share this wherever possible, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.